Hello everyone. I hope you all are doing well. This is Riya Chokse from Department of Humanities, BSSS College, Bhopal. Today we will be exploring the role of religious, cultural and intellectual leadership in the freedom struggle. Today we will be discussing about how in Indian freedom struggle that was not just a political movement but it was also a moral, cultural and intellectual awakening in which leadership among religious leaders, cultural reformers and intellectual thinkers played a crucial role in awakening national consciousness among the people to mobilize them together beyond elite politics. In this, there were different leadership aspects. That struggle was fueled by religious leaders who was promoting spiritual identity to mobilize masses. Apart from there were intellectual architects who crafted the philosophical scaffolding for independence. Among them, there were also cultural icons who used literature, art, symbols and festivals to foster a national identity. We will talk about them one by one, how this important leadership facets, be it religious leaders, political leaders or cultural leaders, promoting mass mobilization by uniting all the people together at once. First of all, we will be discussing about religious leadership. Religious leaders used faith as a unifying force against colonial domination. It became a medium to inspire and encourage people together and also to restore self-respect of them among Indians. Also to counter colonial cultural superiority and to promote our Indian cultural superiority. Among that, first one was Aurobindo Ghosh. Sri Aurobindo Ghosh was primarily a proponent of spiritual nationalism who viewed India as divine mother. In his work of Bhavani Mandir, he presented India as a manifestation of goddess Kali and Durga, in which he said, if we want Swaraj, then we should be having faith in God, and that was the greatest means to promote and to win Swaraj. Apart from them, there was Bal Gangadhar Tilak, who also known as the father of Indian Revolution. He used religious faith as an instrument of national awakening. He revived festivals to move Indian political struggle into a public sphere and promoting mass mobilization. He used Ganpati and Shivaji festivals as religious celebrations to promote national spirit and unity, to promote everyone to come together against the British rule. Apart from that, there was Bankim Chand Chatterjee who made Indian symbol as Mother India to promote nationalism. Now let's talk about social religious reformers such as Dayanand Saraswati. Dayanand Saraswati founded Arya Samaj and was the first one to proclaim India is for Indians in order to promote Swaraj. By advocating a return to Vedas, he sought to make the world noble and provided a progressive political ideology that rejected Western cultural domination. He was the pioneer of Arya Samaj, who promoted that if we want, he was the pioneer to promote self-respect among individuals, among Indians, to promote the slogan back to Vedas. He gave the slogan back to Vedas to promote all the Indians that we should be finding prestige and pride in our own culture, and promoted that same. Apart from that, there was Swami Vivekananda. He propounded a religious theory of nationalism based on spiritualism. He urged the masses to imbibe the spirit of freedom and equality through the philosophy of Vedanta, asserting that India could provide spiritual leadership to entire world. According to Swami Vivekananda, he also promoted India and he also represented India in US, also promoting that Indian spiritual well-being is the foremost in the entire world, and spiritual leadership, India is the foremost country. Apart from all these leadership, Islamic leadership and inter-community unity also became a symbol for promoting in religious leaderships. Among that, Khilafat movement was Muslim religious political protest against the British regarding the Ottoman Empire. It was the first movement that happened during 1918 to 1924. It saw that Muslim ulemas come together and in India, Muslims and Hindus came together to unite in a united single protest for the first time. Apart from that, there was Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, and through Aligarh movement, he played a vital role in the educational and social upliftment of Muslims, restoring the status and political awareness. Apart from there was Muhammad Iqbal, who wrote the song, the famous song that we all sing together right till now, Sare Jahan Se Acha, in order to praise motherland and to promote nationalism in India, among Indians. Now let's talk about cultural leadership and national identity. Cultural leaders revived Indian art history, language and traditions to counter colonial narratives. Culture became a powerful tool for emotional integration, national pride, and to resist Western cultural domination. Under British colonial rule, somehow Indian culture was being dominated by the British superiority, but cultural leadership helped Indians rediscover their pride in their own rich cultural heritage and historical achievement. By this, they not only challenged the colonial superiority but also fostered self-respect and unity among Indians to contribute towards the growth of common national identity. Among this cultural leadership, there was the role of literature that became a prominent in order to express nationalist impression. Among them, Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay played a major role. He wrote Vande Mataram, in which, in his novel Anand Mat, he defined India as mother and promoted patriotic sentiment into a mass devotion. Apart from that, there was Rabindranath Tagore. He promoted spiritual humanism and social synthesis known as Samanvay. He promoted equality among different races present in India through equality and brotherhood. Muhammad Iqbal, as we have discussed above, that he also composed Sare Jahan Se Acha and praised motherland and explored the link between religious philosophy and national identity. Apart from that, there was Subramanyam Bharati. He was a pioneer, a modern Tamil poetry, who wrote fiery songs and also advocated women's participation in politics through his cultural writings. All these literaries promoted nationalism and inspired Indians to come together against the British colonial domination. Apart from literature, there was different cultural tools for mass mobilization. Among them, there was art, music, and folk traditions. Patriotic songs and music strengthened emotional unity. There were a lot of songs being written by different literates and singers to promote unity among all the Indians. Songs such as Bande Marat, Sare Jahan Se Acha was being written as a potent symbol of anti-British sentiment among the country. There were also some folk songs like bhajans and street performances that mobilized rural population as well. There was theatre and drama as well, who portrayed heroism of Indian rulers and exposed British exploitation, reaching even illiterate masses. Even there were historical plays based on Lord Shivaji, Rana Pratap, under dramatic act to promote mobilization among Indians. There were also festivals and cultural gatherings promoted by Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Lala Lajpat Rai to spread nationalist ideas to encourage mass participation. Ganesh Utsav and Shivaji festivals was being reorganized by Bal Gangadhar Tilak to promote national spirit of unity among Indians. Now let's talk about intellectual foundations of Indian nationalism. Apart from religious and cultural leaders, there were also intellectual leaders who formed the philosophical and ideological backbone of Indian freedom struggle, transforming it from political slogans into a deep mental and moral awakening. Now, there were a lot of political thinkers and they were being divided into two important aspects. There was moderates and there were extremists. Moderates comprised of Dadabhai Naoroji, Gokhale, and S.D. Banerjee, Tayyabji and Firoz Shah Mehta, who built constitutional methods by legislative debates and civic education. According to them, they thought that we can get our own power and independence if we are, through pledges, through constitutional methods, through writings, etc. But there was also a political group of extremists comprised of different extremist leaders like Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Lala Lajpat Rai, Bipin Chandra Pal, Aurobindo Ghosh, etc., who was mainly promoted rational and radical methods in order to get independence. According to them, they stressed on mass enlightenment as the key of nation building. Now, there were also some leaders who was promoting secularism and scientific humanism. For example, Tagore and Nehru, they promoted and emphasized the idea of equality, the idea of Samanvay, in which he is promoting cultural harmony and cultural equality. Now, apart from political leaders, there were also economical leaders, economical intellect, who critique imperialism through economical theories. Among them, the major and the first important theory was given by Dadabhai Naoroji and M.G. Ranade, the theory of drain theory, in which they exposed that how the British economic exploitation was happening and how the economic wealth of India was being drained to British colonial rule. Apart from that, there were R.C. Datta, and in his Economic History of India, he talked about the decentralization and the oppressive revenue collection policies of Britishers, and talked about how the peasants and the farmers are being, puppet in the hands of Britishers and being and giving the revenue apart instead of in giving revenue to the foremost. Apart from that, there was J.C. Karyappa, who was talking about the Gandhian economic policies that were centered totally on rural development, human dignity and non-violence. Now, there were also intellectuals who was promoting social justice, faith and radical thought. Among them intellectuals, first was B.R. Ambedkar. He was a pioneer to promote social justice among the people. He used scholarship to challenge caste oppression and ensured freedom was linked with constitutional and social justice. According to him, he also promoted the idea of Samanvay, equality among everyone. There was also Jyotirao Phule. In his work Gulmarguri, he equated caste with slavery and championed and also promoted Shudra and women's emancipation. There was Periyar E.V. Ramaswamy, who advocated rationalism and self-respect and challenged Brahminical dominance and promoted equality among everyone. Through all these intellectuals, we can clearly see that they were all promoting the idea of unity. There was no discrimination, be it on the basis of religion, caste, culture or creed, and they were also promoting social justice and faith among everyone. There were also the ideas of Mahatma Gandhi, Subhash Chandra Bose and M.N. Roy being separated from one another, but always promoting nationalism and freedom from British colonial rule. In this, among them, Mahatma Gandhi, who transformed Satya and Ahimsa into powerful political tools in order to merge ethics into mass politics. According to him, the only thing that he can, be used against the Britishers was the power of Satya and Ahimsa. And through the methodologies of Satyagraha, he was able to collect mass mobilization. He was able to collect entire mass together to fight against the British colonial rule. Now, there was also Subhash Chandra Bose, who was having different leadership. He was having a leadership in a more radical prospect in which he advocated militant action. According to him, it was only military, and through military action we can get independence from the British colonial domination. He founded INA, which is Indian National Army, and shifted from spiritual idealism to political idealism in order to gain independence. Now, there were also a leader, M.N. Roy, who introduced Marxism and later formulated New Humanism based on reason and ethics. All these people, be it cultural, intellectual or religious leaders, they all were coming together, having their own mindsets and their own intellect, but promoting a single idea, which was the idea of nationalism, to promote to gain independence from the British colonial rule. They all came together fighting for a single reason, and that was freedom from the British colonial rule. So, be it any leadership facets, all are coming together with a single aim, and that was mass mobilization against Britishers to promote independence among Indians. Thank you so much for listening to the lecture.